I do not fear you, ugly thing. My heart is pure as a freshwater spring.
As I'm getting older, chip upon my shoulder, rolling through life, you roll over and die.
Hey guys, it's Streed, and today I'm going to be reviewing one of my favorite underrated animated films, Dragon Hunters. Dragon Hunters was directed by Guillaume Vernel and Arthur Quack. It was based off a short-lived TV series by the same name that only lasted 52 episodes and ran on Cartoon Network from 2006 to 2007. The movie is actually French, with there being an American dub release, which is the version I watched. This movie is a childhood favorite of mine. I got the DVD when it first came out. This film is about Leon Chu, Guizhou, and Hector, three dragon hunters looking to retire from a life of danger in lieu of a serene sheep farm, but they're hired by an aging blind king to do one last gig to destroy the world gobbler and restore peace to the land, while his nephew Zoe tags along on their perilous journey. The American version starred Forrest Whitaker, Rob Paulson, and Mary Mauser. I never watched the TV series, but I've always loved this movie, and it remains as part of my nostalgia. What a trip down memory lane. Back in the old days, I used to love this movie. I watched this so many times. This is one of those movies that's been drilled into my brain. I absolutely love it. I can honestly say I've never seen another film quite like this. This movie is entirely unique in so many ways, especially in atmosphere. And atmosphere is why I love it as much as I did then, as much as I do now. You know, like atmosphere is entirely why I like silly shit like Doctor Who's The Web Planet. And as silly as that was and dull at times, I still loved it. Now let's get on to the strengths. The main theme in the score is great. It's fucking awesome. The main theme is so fucking cool. It's so badass. You gotta hear it. The score also has like a nostalgic feel to it. All the songs, especially the music later when Guizhou is going off and reflecting on his actions, and Leon Chu is sharpening his blade. I don't know what the hell kind of blade it is, but he's sharpening his blade. I love that scene. That's the one scene. And there's a lot of scenes in this movie that I still remember, but that one scene is stuck in my mind forever. I just love the atmosphere. I love the music. I love the reflection. This movie is so underappreciated. So damn underappreciated, and it pisses me off. Sure, it's not perfect, but this really does deserve to be seen. And Leon Chu is a great character. Now, one of the things that aren't so great about this movie is most of the characters are either annoying, forgettable, or they're terrible. But Leon Chu is a really good developed character. You see, in the beginning of the movie, we go back to his childhood. And he's in this village, and his parents and everyone he's loved and known has been killed by the World Gobbler, which is the beast he has to kill, that he's hired to kill at the very end of the movie, that he travels to go and kill it. And wow, he's a really great developed character. He's a nice guy. He loves his friends. He may not be like super in depth, but out of the whole cast of this movie, he's the most developed, you know? And the atmosphere is apocalyptic and really, really cool. I mean, floating lands. It's like they're in space, but not in space. It's so fucking badass. I love it. It's very dark and liminal in a way. Just looking at pictures from this film is it's amazing. And the dragons look awesome. They're not your stereotypical lizard, reptile, right? Like dragons. They're like there's one dragon in here that looks like a fucking pumpkin. But yeah, the dragons look very unique and interesting, and there's actually quite a few in this. And the animation, oh my god, the animation is beautiful. For 2008, years ago, this animation is absolutely perfect. It's so good to look at. It almost feels realistic in some ways, especially with the scenes with the clouds and the skies and the rubble like floating everywhere, and especially the World Gobbler's lair. That place looks so fucking depressing. The whole movie feels like some sort of 3D painting, and I mean that in such a positive way. I love it. The visuals, of course, the visuals are really unique and interesting. There's a character-driven conflict between Leon Chu and Guizhou, which I really like. This movie's very character-driven. What it lacks in plot, it has a lot of It's very character-driven with Leon Chu's conflict with Guizhou, because if anything, Guizhou is really more of a villain here. He does come around the very end, but throughout the movie, he's a very greedy, petty, almost incel kind of guy. There's literally a scene where he's like, "Yeah, I'm stupid and I'm ugly. I don't care. Fuck you all." Well, he doesn't say "fuck you all," but you get the drift. And the final fight is the best part of the movie. The fight with Leon Chu and the fucking World Gobbler. That thing is horrifying looking, by the way. That used to give me nightmares when I was a kid. And I'd watch this shit, and I'd see scenes with the World Gobbler. I remember when the scene where its introduction scene, you gotta see this.
Run for cover!
Monster bat?
My nightmare! That's the skeleton dragon of my nightmares!
Used to scare the fucking shit out of me. I straight up had nightmares about this fucking thing. And its roar, and it's just so fucking scary. Even now, it gives you fucking shivers. Now for the weaknesses. The story is slim and dull at times, but the characters are, well, Leon Chu, he's still very interesting with his conflict and his friendship with Guizhou. And now for Guizhou. Guizhou is a horrible human being. Like I said, throughout most of the film, he is absolutely terrible. There's even a scene where they go they go into this weird place with these like spores, and they got spikes everywhere. And when they're running out, he literally traps them in there until Leon Chu busts out and he squashes them behind the door. And but yeah, he literally he's such a coward in this film. And there's also another scene where they're fighting the pumpkin dragon, which is the red cloud. And Guizhou hides in the place, and Zoe, she's not really the best character either, though, but she's banging on the door, she's wanting to get help, and this is a little girl, mind you, and Guizhou's just leaves her out there to die. Like, this guy fucking sucks, and especially one of the worst things he does in this fucking movie is Leon Chu, he likes to knit, right? And he gets these knitting things, these knitting things. And he's like, "Oh, knitting's for grandmas!" And the fucked up part about that is that's all he had left from his mother that was killed by the fucking World Gobbler. And you'd think, as his best friend, the man who knows him the most, would understand that this was all he had left of his mother. But no, he just makes fun of him for it. And then he does a half-ass apology later. That's fucked up. That's pretty fucked up. Fucking bringing up your friend's trauma and making fun of it, that's really fucked up. I would, like, my friends, I would never fucking do that to them, and they don't do that shit to me. Like, seriously, Guizdo, that's really fucked up. And Hector's more of a useless character. He's like the pet of the group, you know, like the Stitch. He doesn't do much. He's somewhat of a comic relief, but he's not really that funny. He can piss fire, which is probably one of the only comical things about him. He's pretty much a useless character. Take him out of the movie and nothing changes. And Zoe is so fucking annoying. Oh my god, I hate this bitch. I hate this bitch. Throughout the whole movie, she's always fawning over Leon's shoes. He's so I got that! Oh, you're so cool! It's unreal! It's unreal! Oh god, it's so annoying. This bitch is Twitter incarnate, and I don't know when Twitter was made. This movie might have been made before Twitter. I don't fucking know. But yeah, she is so annoying. Honestly, she's kind of a useless character too. She knows all this shit about knights and things, but she never gets a chance to, you know, utilize her knowledge and fight with them against the dragons, which is something I kind of wish they did. Like, she knows all this knowledge about knights, you know, she's a fan of them. I think it would have been cool if she got some time to, you know, like, fight dragons, you know, build her own little machines. I think that would have been really fucking cool, but they didn't do that, and she makes the film a little annoying, but also, the ending after the World Gobblers defeated is a little cheesy. Like, for instance, Leon Shu and Guizdo, they walk away after getting into a little scuffle with the Blind King, and he gets his sight back, and he doesn't believe that they defeated the World Gobbler, even though he has his fucking sight back. Yeah, he's also a pretty shitty character. This movie doesn't have that much of a cast. Like, it's a very small cast, you know? So anyways, Leon Chu and Guizdo, they go back to their place, and then Zoe comes along, and she has the money, and then they all ride off happily together, you know, yay! But I'm just sitting here thinking, you know he's a king, right? He's gonna come after you motherfuckers. Kings don't fuck around. They're like the mob. And Zoe is his nephew, so he's gonna come back and slaughter your ass. So I didn't really care for the cheesy kitty ending at the very end, but this movie is definitely worth a watch. I love it. It will always be a part of my childhood. The visuals are great. The story is very quiet and character driven, and I love that. It's one of those adventure films that I find myself watching multiple times. Even to this day, I love watching this movie, despite some of its flaws. It's still a pretty great, criminally underrated movie. If I had to rate it, I'd have to give it a 7 out of 10. Well, guys, that was my review, and I will see you all next time.